Should you ditch this product called LMNT that has electrolytes?
LMNT is a famous brand of electrolytes that has built their brand on a promise of no sugar and no dodgy ingredients. But recently it was exposed that LMNT actually includes maltodextrin, a high glycemic index sugar.
This isn't your typical element review. I'm not going to talk about my 30-day experience or the taste, but what I am going to do is talk about its ingredients, whether those ingredients are actually effective, and how they potentially may be harming some people.
And he has been outing LMNT for several months now. I just caught on, but here's the story. If you are just following the LMNT story, they said that there's 4 milligrams of maltodextrin per package.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Westman, and welcome to my channel where I review and debunk nutritional misinformation online. So there's a big hoopla in the keto-verse, the part of the internet that's involved with keto diets, the keto-verse. And LMNT got caught, if you will, with their pants down in saying that they didn't have maltodextrin, and they actually do in the product. So if you're my patient, not to worry. If you use it in moderation. If you want to know the details of why I say that, please stay tuned in this video and wait till the end, and I'll explain my thought process. So for years, I've taught a low-carb keto diet under 20 total grams, not net grams, per day. And I was happily treating patients at Duke University in my clinic, reversing diabetes, obesity, all sorts of other metabolic problems. People started coming in saying, you know, keto, that's so hard, or all those products you have to buy to be keto. And even today, there's keto bread and keto buns that I don't want you to have, but all these other things kind of blossomed. For years, because sodium and potassium and magnesium are really critical elements, I told people to, well, have bouillon cubes or crystals or paste if you need some salt supplementation, especially through that first 2-week period of keto adaptation. And then if you get muscle cramps or you have constipation, adding some magnesium in will help through that transition. So milk and magnesia is a way to get magnesium in the blue bottle, and you drink it, but some people don't like the way it tastes. Some people don't know about bouillon, don't know how to mix it up. So then bone broth came out, and concern about getting the bone and the stem cells and all that. All this came, and that wasn't the way I was taught. I was taught a very simple method that still works today. And when people get over-consumed and over-worried about those things and it's not working, the internet keto, we call it, we teach our old-timey low-carb keto approach, which still works very, very well. Some products have been introduced by my patients in Durham, North Carolina, and actually around the world, and ones that I've been very comfortable telling people they can have, like this sweet sugar-free additive to drinks in order to get people off sugar. I say, yeah, it's fine to use these things to get you through that sugar addiction withdrawal. And in there, it says citric acid, potassium, maltodextrin in here. So when I was thinking about the LMNT hoopla, maybe the package size just isn't big enough to write maltodextrin on it. Well, this pack's a little smaller, and they wrote maltodextrin on it. So that wasn't the reason. Now, I'm told that the company didn't know exactly what was in it. Well, you know, that's not a good excuse. They should have had it on it. But is it enough to worry about is really my concern. And is it something that we should not be using at all? We certainly need the sodium and potassium and magnesium, and it's great to have it in small packs and to have it tasty. That's why Rob Wolf, who created it, and his team have made it because of the popular demand and his own personal experience. So even though maltodextrin isn't on the label, it should be, the amount matters. And so when you look at the total carbohydrate content, it basically says 2 grams, 2G. And here, this is 3 Gs, 3 grams of something that people have once or twice a day. The diet program that I teach works if you have this. So I'm not worried about this stalling or stopping the average or the usual consumer, because I've been using something very similar for years in a program that works, but of course we have a simple program. We're not adding in all sorts of carbs here, carbs there, having even more. It's a very simple low carb down to 20 grams total, not net. If you don't know what that is, total is everything in there on the label is counted. Well, so this, which I don't recommend to my patients, total carbohydrate, 31 grams per serving, and there's one package, one serving per package, so that's for the whole pack. Yes, I've had patients count out the number of Doritos and say, well, look, it's only 2 grams. Well, that's not the point. I want you to have real food, not this fake stuff. But when you look on the ingredients, there's corn. Another reason to just look at the total carbs is it gets harder to look at the small print to find the maltodextrin. There is maltodextrin in here. There's maltodextrin in here. There's maltodextrin in here. I'm just not overwhelmingly dissatisfied. I mean, I guess it's something that's used in the product to deliver the flavor or to stop the condensation or the water from building up. You'll find maltodextrin and potato starch in shredded cheese. I remember 10 years ago there was this hoopla about all of the maltodextrin in shredded cheese. Don't have that. Well, it's a carblet. It's a very small amount of carbs. Carblet, microcarb, nanocarb, if you will. But so for metabolism, we're talking grams of carbohydrates, under 20 gram, not 20 milligrams. And so that's 20,000 grams. And so I'm just not overwhelmed or impressed that this is a bad thing to have in moderation in terms of the metabolic effects. I've been recommending things that have been similar for years. They should put it on the label, of course, just comparing it to other products that have it on the label. So just so you know, though, I've been involved in trying to create a bar, and we had one for a while, my company, Adapt Your Life, and it got lost through the pandemic. But it was very tasty, it was very clean, and people liked it, but it was kind of expensive, it didn't survive. And so I have a great respect for products that actually do survive through the vetting and the scaling up. And I'd say Rob Wolf and Mark Sisson in the paleo worlds were kind of like the local boys made good, and so I was kind of I'm rooting for them because they are not big food coming in and just making stuff like the keto junk food we see today. Don't have the keto ice cream, the keto bread, the keto, it's not keto if you're going to do a prescription strength keto diet like I recommend. A lot of people can have that, but then they're ones that don't need a keto type of metabolism. So you have to know also a little about me. I'm not too worried about the plastic in this cup, or I'm not worried about a lot of things that other people are worried about. So when it comes to fear mongering and if we don't know, you should worry about it, that's not my approach. Not my what I think is a scientifically based approach that requires a pretty high level of evidence for me to say, yeah, great. Now, conversely, if there were hundreds of people who came out and said these things harmed me, well, you would take notice of that. And I have a clinical practice where people come back to me and say, I use this and it's great, or it's not great, or I don't have a clinical signal that it's anything bad. Although one person gave me their flavored product and said, I can't have it because it causes me a problem. So they only have the unflavored version of it. So sensitivities are a different issue. So metabolically, I'm not concerned, but if you have a sensitivity to maltodextrin, then of course you wouldn't have it. But that's as no-brainer as I give a list of foods, and there's shellfish on the list of food. But if you have a shellfish allergy, you don't have it. So on the program I teach, we overlap a list of foods with the tolerability and tolerance of your particular individual experience. And if you think that I can know by you watching this and me telling you exactly what to have, then that's one of the tragedies of internet delivery of personalized medical care. It doesn't exist off the internet, through the internet. So let your own body tolerance tell you if you have this and have a reaction, then don't have it. If it's a good way for you to get sodium and magnesium and it reminds you to have it, and actually it's a tasty way to get it, I think it's fine. But that's the viewpoint from my standpoint, looking at science and a clinical experience of a couple decades using this kind of approach. I'm not a fearmonger. I'm afraid that this is a little bit of like sibling rivalry between different companies, one calling the other one out and saying this and that. And I reviewed the iodine test that a different company was doing about checking for starches. You know, it's a small amount. Don't sweat the small stuff. I hope that's helpful. If you like this, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and look for new content twice a week. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and check out adaptyourlifeacademy.com.